Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms, firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can know exactly where the conversation is taking place. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. And in both cases, make sure you hit the notification button. That way, you'll be notified as soon as we go live. That way, you can participate in the live chat as the program is going on. Also, please visit FPCgear.com. It's FPCgear.com. It is the place to get your Pro 2A swag. I'm talking t-shirts, coffee mugs, hoodies, stickers. I mean, we're always uploading new designs. A great place to go and buy stuff for yourself or for your friends. The best part is every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight for our right to keep and bear arms, so you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's FPCgear.com. All right, so, you know, here in the state of California, we have this thing called the dealer record of sale. And this is the fund, the money that you're supposed to pay that's supposed to be a fee that goes towards paying for the cost of your background check. That's what the whole point of that system is, of a fee is. And in the state of California, you know, we treat fees differently than we do taxes. Taxes can be levied on something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be directly tied to what it is that you're doing. But for fees, you know, it's supposed to, number one, go to just cover the cost of what it is that you're doing. But secondly, it's also supposed to at least supposed to be related to what it is that you are doing with it, right? So once again, so if you have basically a background check fee or a DROS fee, dealer record of sale fee, that is, you know, how much money you spend, then the money is supposed to go to that. Well, one of the things that we found here in the state of California is that, we've seen, I don't want to say increases is not the word I'm looking for. We've seen overages or surpluses, amounts of money in our background check system, or our DROS fund here in the state of California, because every time they go to ban a firearm, people go and buy it before it's banned. That just tends to be what happens here in the state of California. So they've seen like these massive surpluses. And what the legislature has done is they've decided that we're going to take that money out of that dealer record of sale fund and we're going to use it for other stuff. Probably one of the most infamous was when they took $24 million away from them to give it to the Attorney General, supposedly so that it would help address what's called our APS, Armed Prohibited Persons List, or basically go after people who have guns who are not supposed to have guns. So get this. So they had to pass a special bill to say, yeah, this money over here that's supposed to be money for a fee, right? Money that we overcharged people because it didn't cost that much money. We overcharged them. Now we have a surplus of money. We're not going to take that money and not use it on background checks, but we're going to use it to go after people who we believe are not supposed to have firearms. People who've either been convicted of a felony or a prohibiting misdemeanor, people who are the targets who are subject of restraining orders, individuals who may or may not have been adjudicated or determined to be not mentally fit to own a firearm. Maybe they've been committed for 72 hours. Whatever it is, they're not supposed to have a gun. Now, by the way, we also know that this list is it is definitely not, how shall we say, accurate. Yeah, we'll just say that. We know that this list is not accurate and hasn't been accurate. But anyway, all that having been said, they took money that had nothing to do with apps and they used it for apps. Well, now in the state of California, we've got another case where, they've just decided they're not even going to pretend anymore that they want to use the money for background checks. Right? So now what they've decided is that they've decided they're going to increase the amount of money that can be charged for a background check. Now, mind you, they've already determined that, they're charging too much. That's how they have a surplus. So they're already charging too much for the DROS fee. But they didn't just decide that. They also decided a few things. So here's what happened. So first, they decided to increase the DROS fee. How much did they increase it? They decided to increase it over 50%, right? It was $19. Now it's over $31 is what they've decided to increase the DROS fee for. It is what they decided to increase the DROS fee. Now what they're going to do is they're going to take that money and it's going to be deposited into a DROS supplemental sub account. A DROS supplemental sub account. Can you guys guess what they mean by a DROS supplemental sub account? What they could possibly be thinking about this? Because think about this. Once again, we already know that at $19 they're charging too much. We already know this. So now they're going to increase it to $31. And they're creating a supplemental account. Now, here's what else they've done, just so you know. Every single time they come up with a program that they want to implement, right, where they want to restrict the rights of gun owners, they borrow money from the DROS fund in order to pay for it. That's what it's gotten so bad that they've actually depleted the DROS fund because every time they create a new program, once again, has nothing to do with background checks or providing background checks. Every single time they decide to do that, they're going to borrow money from the DROS fund. And they borrowed so much money from the DROS fund, they've bankrupted it. So now they're going to increase the fee by 50% and they're going to create a supplemental account so that they have more money to borrow for their programs. Now, you and I know that's wrong. You and I know they shouldn't be able to do that. So what other language do they include in their legislation, which in fact, or at least in their eyes, allows them to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So in this supplemental account, in this bill, they actually also expanded the use or what these funds could be used for. Expands the list of regulatory and enforcement activities in which the DOJ spends its supplemental and sub-account funds to include going after manufacturing and unlawful or lawful possession of firearms. So, once again, they are now going to take the money that's supposed to go into background checks, the money that's supposed to use to paid to do background checks. Money I pay you. If I need my oil change, I go to a mechanic. I pay you to do my oil, to change my oil. Right? That's a fee. I pay you a service fee. But if you decide you want to go do something else, that's not what this is supposed to be. But that's what they've decided to do. And now they've just decided to make it official. Yeah, we are going to implement our slush fund. We're going to create our slush funds, and we're going to do it on the back of law-abiding citizens who want nothing more than to exercise their fundamental right to keep and bear arms. But folks, yeah, they're going after all gun owners, but this isn't the only case in which they're doing this. Let me give you an example. Take this particular example here. Let's talk about concealed carry permits, right? Now, we know that concealed carry permits, it's a smaller percentage of overall gun owners. And believe it or not, in the state of California, there are compared to overall population, it's not comparable. But in certain counties in California, there are significant numbers of, there are actually sheriffs who do believe in the right to bear arms and are allowing individuals to be able to exercise that right. Once again, as long as they pass the background check and as long as they follow all the requirements, but for the most part, they're issuing a number of them, whether it's Fresno County or San Bernardino County or, Sacramento County is an example. Placer County are examples of counties that have a good number of people who have concealed carry permits. But in order to reduce that, they're trying to, once again, price people out of the ability to be able to do it. Now, in California, we actually had notice I said that, had a cap on what could be charged for a concealed carry permit, and that was $100, right? Well, what they've done now here in the state of California is they didn't raise that fee because they were saying, oh, well, it's too expensive. It's not fully covering the cost of enforcement. No. They didn't, they actually flat out removed the cap on CCW fees and expanded enforcement. eliminated the $100 limit on processing fees for concealed carry licenses, meaning local sheriffs can charge as much as they would like. But it's not just even as much as they would like. They're actually required to use that fee, increase it as much as it takes to do what they call enforcement. And what they've done is they've actually opened the door to pass all sorts of legislation that says, well, sheriff, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, and that money's going to come out of that increased fee. And you have to just keep increasing the fee until it covers the cost of what we deem to be enforcement. So once again, they're creating another slush fund, and they're using it. They're paying for it off the backs of law-abiding citizens. I'm sorry, but especially, I'll be real with you. In the state of California, you pass a background check. If you get a concealed carry permit, on how strict the requirements are here in California, you are the very definition of a law-abiding citizen. And yet, their only goal isn't for you to be able to defend yourself or your family. Their whole goal is they basically want to make sure they want to fund their slush funds off your back. They want to make it so inexpensive that the average citizen can't afford to be able to exercise their right to bear arms. Folks, I know those of you outside of the state of California who are looking at this are probably thinking, wow, I cannot believe this. Why would you deal with this? And, I tell people this. California is my home, right? I was born and raised here. And just like you, I wouldn't allow someone to just come into my home and just take it over without fighting back. And so I'm going to be fighting back as long and as hard as I possibly can. And there are many of us here in the state of California who also are. But I also promise you this, that if the battle's not taking place here in the state of California or in New Jersey or in one of the other states, Hawaii, or in one of the other states where they don't believe in the fundamental right to keep and bear arms, I can tell you this, it'll be taking place where you are, in Washington, in Oregon, in Nevada, in Texas, in Wyoming, in Utah. Trust me, I'm telling you right now, this is the battle. This is something that it doesn't just stay. It's like a virus, right? It's like a virus, like a disease. And trust me, it expands and it grows. And as many people are leaving the state of California, either because they don't like the laws or because it's just too expensive, many of them are still bringing their same attitudes regarding the elected officials that they choose that they had while they were here in California. That's my warning. I'll just put that out there. But anyway, you can be sure that there's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to help us fight against some of these unconstitutional laws. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to help us fight back against against this poll tax, this increased tax on once again a fundamental right. And so we hope you guys will be there, be with us as we fight this stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the program and telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.